All right, we're about to dive into one of the most complex, most fascinating topics there is, the command center that's running your entire life.
No, really. Just stop and think about it for a second. When you make a choice, who or what is really calling the shots inside your own head?
You know, the story we usually tell ourselves is pretty simple. We think there's just one me in here, right? A single, unified personality that's firmly in the driver's seat, steering the ship with pure logic.
Yeah, we picture this little CEO sitting in the corner office of our brain, confidently making all the big, important calls.
This CEO is supposed to be the master of our impulses, the architect of our grand plans. But if you've ever found yourself eating that extra cookie when you knew you shouldn't, you've seen the cracks in this story. And it turns out, neuroscience is showing us that this CEO might be more of a powerful illusion than a reality.
The truth is a lot more chaotic, and frankly, a lot more interesting. It's less of a dictatorship and more of a very noisy committee meeting. So instead of one CEO, I want you to picture a bustling parliament. Inside, you've got three key members who are constantly debating, arguing, and just occasionally cooperating to get things done. The real question is, who are these characters?
Okay, here's our cast. First, you've got the lizard, your ancient survival brain. Then there's the heart, your emotional and social brain. And finally, the thinker, the logical part you probably identify as you. And trust me, each one has a completely different agenda. Let's meet them properly. First up is the oldest member of the committee by a long shot, the lizard brain. This part is pure instinct. It's been with us for millions of years, and its programming is, let's say, brutally simple.
The lizard only cares about the absolute essentials. See a delicious donut? Its response is, want! Sense a sudden threat in the dark? It screams, fear! It doesn't think, it just reacts. And when it decides to hit that big red panic button, it doesn't wait for a vote from the committee. It just acts.
Next up, we have the emotional heart. This is where your feelings, your memories, and all of your social connections live. It's the part of you that forms bonds, feels joy, and remembers every little bit of pain. The way the heart works is by attaching an emotional tag to every single memory you have. Had a bad experience with a dog as a kid? The heart tags all dogs with a little bit of fear. This is the source of your gut feelings. It operates on vibes and past experiences, not on cold, hard logic. And finally, we have the new kid on the block, the thinker. This is your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles language, long-term planning, and rational thought. It's that voice you hear in your head when you're weighing the pros and cons. Now, the thinker is powerful. It's the only one that can look at a piece of cake and say no because it understands the long-term goal of getting healthy. But here's the catch. Compared to the others, it's slow, and it runs on a very limited battery. So when you're tired or stressed, it's the first one to check out.
So, how do these three actually work together? Well, there's a brilliant metaphor for this dynamic that really clarifies the power struggle happening in your mind every single day.
I want you to think of your instinctual and emotional brains, the lizard and the heart, fused together as one giant, powerful elephant. And your rational brain, the thinker? It's a tiny rider perched on top, just holding the reins.
This just perfectly illustrates the power dynamic, doesn't it? While the rider can see the long-term path on the map, the elephant provides all the energy and motivation to actually get there. They have to work together, but let's be honest, it is not a partnership of equals. Because when that elephant gets spooked, or tempted, or just plain angry, it's going to go where it wants to go. The rider can pull on the reins all they want, but really, they're mostly just holding on for dear life. Ever snapped at someone in anger and regretted a second later? Yep, that was your elephant taking charge.
But hold on. If the elephant is in charge so often, why do we almost always feel like we're in control? Well, that's because there's one more character in this parliament we haven't met yet. Let's call this one the press secretary. Meet the storyteller. Its job is to watch whatever the elephant does and then immediately invent a perfectly logical reason for why the rider meant to do that all along. So your elephant sees a huge sail and just charges toward it. Your rider gives in. Instantly, the storyteller types up a press release in your head. I bought this because it was a smart financial decision, and I definitely needed it. This creates this beautiful illusion that the rider is always in charge. We're not controlling our actions, we're rationalizing them. So if we can't control the elephant with brute force, what can we do? The secret isn't a stronger rider, it's a smarter one. It's about learning how to train the elephant. First, design your path.
Make the choices you want the elephant to take, the easiest ones. Don't just rely on willpower. Put the healthy snacks at eye level and the junk food out of sight. Second, learn to speak the elephant's language. When you feel anxious, just name it. Simply saying to yourself, "This is anxiety," can be enough to calm the elephant down. And finally, take care of your elephant. A tired, hungry, or stressed elephant is an unruly one.
The key takeaway here is that you aren't one single, unified self. You're a team. You're a parliament. A sometimes messy, sometimes brilliant collaboration between an ancient survivalist, an emotional memory keeper, and a young, logical planner. And maybe the real you isn't any single one of these voices. Maybe the real you is the quiet awareness that can step back and simply listen to all of them. Understanding that is the first step toward true self-mastery.